Wednesday, it's time for Hump Day Motivation. Today, we are going to focus on how to reprogram your mind. Do you know even the fact that it's Wednesday is a programming? Even the fact that we feel like it's the middle of the week is a direct correlation. That means directly related to programming. We have all been programmed on this concept of time. Have you thought about that? You have been programmed on the concept of time. So we're all saying today is Wednesday, right? So this programming of 7 days a week, of the hours, and then we operate and we gauge our entire life based on this programming. We also engage our emotions based on the programming. And let me tell you something. You are two things. You are heart and mind. So what you believe and what you feel actually is like the motivator for everything that you do in your life. And that means it's what moves you forward. So your thoughts, oh, every day, it's Wednesday, it's hump day, I'm almost to the week, I'm getting to the weekend, so you can do what? So you can have this freedom to do what you want, although you chose what you're doing right now. We always choose based on the results we think we want, okay? So you always are at choice in some way, and your choice is directly related to your beliefs, and your beliefs are directly related to how you feel. Oh my God, you guys, it's just so crazy when you think about it. So I want to talk to you about a simple way on how you can start to program your mind, or should I say reprogram your mind, because our mind is like a computer that is constantly being programmed. The problem is it's outside forces that are programming you. So you feel like you're stuck in this matrix and you're really making choices, but you're not until you consciously decide to reprogram your mind. And there's a simple technique that you can do that, but it requires repetition. So like if you listen to a song, like your same song, like I don't know, what's a good song? Everybody knows Michael Jackson. Just beat it, beat it. No one can be defeated. Good thing I'm a coach and not a singer, right? Okay, so we are programmed to remember that song because we heard it so many times, and then it got matched up with an emotion, right? Maybe you were dancing, maybe you had experienced something that he was talking about in the song, but the programming requires like a thought, a physical experience, and an emotion. So like everything that we believe about the days of the week, Monday is the start of the week, Saturday is the weekend, right? So we're programming ourselves on how to feel about a certain day based on the choices that we make. Are you guys following me? So what I want to tell you is that this is something that I do with my Thrive in 2025 group, and I want to share it with you, and it's called affirmations. Now, you may have heard of affirmations before, but I don't know if you really understand affirmations and what they actually do. Number one, there's a certain way that you do your affirmations, and they have to actually affirm you, right? They have to affirm you. So the language that you choose for your affirmation must be uplifting, because you don't want to repeat something over and over and over again into your psyche that is not exactly what you want. So understanding how to do affirmations. So the strongest way to do them is to begin with the words, I am, because you are. That is like, I think, therefore I am. So your thoughts are proof of your existence. I am. And then, who are you? Who are you? And so the great thing about affirmations is that you can actually affirm yourself into a future way of being by reprogramming your mind. So you can affirm yourself into a future. So you may not be fit right now, but if you say every day, I am fit, 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 and you repeat it every day. Now here's the thing. There's another part. You gotta pair it with action. You gotta that match. So when you're working out, you say, I am fit, I am fit, I am fit, I am fit. When you look in the mirror, you look for things you love, not the things that you don't love. I don't care if you look at a shoulder, you go, I am fit, I am fit. So you get that emotion. So the affirmations require you, number one, to start with I am. Number two, to put some action behind it so that you're acting as if you already are. So what do fit people do? They work out. They work out. And what do fit people do? They look in the mirror and they go, okay, I see it happening today. They love on their progress. So you get to be and do the thing that you want in order to have the life that you want. So what I mean by that is don't wait until you get it. Start being it right now. So your affirmations, you start with I am fit, and then you do fit things. You work out and you tell yourself repeatedly that you're fit. And guess what? What your mind believes it will achieve. So as you're telling it, so like it's like having a map. You can have the map, but unless you go out and follow it, you're not going to get anywhere. So the affirmation is the map, but you got to take action with the belief that this is the path that will take you there. And then you got to pair it with emotion. So you got to pair it with an emotion that uplifts you, which is excitement. So you train your mind when you say you were fit, to look for fitness in the mirror. Look for things that you love. So people have the habit of looking for things that they don't like. And then what do you get? More of what you don't like, because what you focus on expands. What you focus on expands. So what I want you guys to do is write down your affirmations beginning with I am. All right, I want you to write down at least 3 of them, okay? I am fit, I am fierce, I am fabulous. That's easy because you see, you didn't know that was an affirmation, right? You didn't know that was an affirmation. But yes, it is. I am fit, I am fierce, I am fabulous. And fierce means I can and I will. Fabulous is a mindset. You believe that you are at the top, right? Not at the bottom. You're the head, not the tail. You're the great, not the grunge, right? So you got to say your affirmations. Oh, my whole brand is an affirmation. Fit, fierce, and fabulous. But like, you got to put some action behind it. What's the action that you got to put behind it? You got to be constant, consistent, and committed to what? To your affirmation. Okay, so constant, consistent, committed. If you're going to be fit, you're not fit some days and not, no, you have a fitness mindset. Now here's the thing. This is a great, beautiful thing. So our bodies are like a frequency. We are a frequency of water and energy. So we're like based on our age, because when you're younger, you have more water. So when you know how babies are like, they're able to move like this, and little kids are able to move because they have more water in their bodies. And so they had operated at a higher frequency because they're changing and they're growing. And then as we get older, we get less water in our body and our frequency actually drops. We're less pliable. That's why it's so important to hydrate yourself, to drink lots of water, to keep your body really pliable and full of water, because water is a frequency and that it can be programmed. You know, Dr. I think it's Yamamoto did a study of water where he took water and ice cubes. He took, say he did ice cubes, and then he had one set of ice cubes here and another set of ice cubes here. And in a separate room, he spoke positive words to those ice cubes. He spoke, you are beautiful, you're intelligent, and he also played classical music. And then in another room, he played like hard rock, heavy metal music and said, you know, you suck, you're awful, you're never gonna be anything. And then he took those ice cubes and he froze them. And what was really amazing was the side where he spoke positive words to, positive music, form these beautiful crystals. And when you look on the microscope, you see these beautiful crystals. And then the side where he spoke negatively to had this negative, repetitive music. It was broken crystals. Now, if you think about that, and you know that your body is mostly water, right? What kind of crystals are you forming inside of your body? What kind of music are you playing to your body? So your emotions are the music. That's the flow. That's what carries it from one frequency to the next. That's why your emotional intelligence is so important, you guys. You can't get yourself be emotionally derailed by negativity because it interrupts your frequency. So your ability to bring yourself back to a positive emotional frequency allows you to elevate. It allows you to elevate your mindset and therefore your body set. What do you want to create? And most people don't spend a lot of time focusing on what's going on the inside. What's going on in your mind? What's going on in your internal frequency? What are you telling yourself every day, all day? Because that's your programming. So if you want to change it with your affirmations, then you get to say it all day, every day. And it's not just writing it down. You get to say it out loud. Because when you write down your affirmations, you're experiencing it. But when you say it out loud, you are hearing it. You're hearing it and you're bringing it into your spirit. And when you're reading it, you're seeing it. When you're writing it, you're being it. So that's 3, the rule of 3. When you do things in threes, which is really powerful, that is a programming. And it's being operated all the time to make sure, because our body is actually conditioned to the rule of 3. You hear something 3 times and it finally lands and clicks with you. They'll give you 3 choices, 3 doors, 3 options, small, medium, large, everything's the rule of 3. So the rule of 3 is you want to write it, hear it, see it, okay? So you write it down, then you say it out loud so you can hear it, and then you look at it when you read it. Rule of 3. So that's the programming for your mind. How often do you want to do this? All the time! Because your mind is like a sponge waiting to be programmed. That's why people spend so much money to program your mind. Commercials, billboards, advertisements. You are constantly being programmed. But are you programming yourself? That is the question you need to ask yourself. Are you taking time out to write your own program? So this is what you get to do with your affirmations. You do it when you wake up. You do it in the middle of the day. You do it when you go to bed. Because what you believe, you will achieve. What you believe, you will achieve. Because if you believe it, you can be it. If you believe it, you can be it. There's a study of the 4-minute mile, and this has happened so many different times, and people thought it's impossible. You can't run a 4-minute mile. This is Roger something or other. He finally ran a 4-minute mile. The same day, like 4 more people ran the 4-minute mile because they're like, oh, it is possible? It is possible? So if it's possible for one, it's possible for all. So the life that you're looking at that seems impossible, the only difference is the person who attained it believed that they could. You get to believe that you can. And how do you raise your belief? Reprogram your mind. Reprogram your mind. So start with your affirmations morning, noon, and night. And don't just write it down. Say it aloud. Okay? Say it aloud. Read it. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. Okay, you get to be the #1 investor in your mindset. You get to invest your time and energy into your mindset, into your thoughts. so that you can raise your frequency. Now here's the thing about frequency. When you raise your frequency, your mind frequency, your emotional frequency, and that water, because we're mostly water, hey, it's no coincidence that we're mostly water, which is a fluid frequency, right? And then what happens? Frequencies attract matching frequency. So if you have a frequency of a mindset that is elevated, that is focused, that has a map, then you will attract elevated, focused, and purpose-driven people into your life. Yes, you will. You will attract circumstances that facilitate your mindset. You will attract miracles into your life. Miracles are just frequencies that match, that come together that you didn't expect. You're like, whoa, because guess what? Guess what, you guys? Here's the thing. You don't attract what you want. You attract who you are. That's why there's no better investment than the one that you do in yourself. Raise your mental frequency, raise your physical frequency, raise your emotional frequency, and you will raise your frequency in life. And it starts with a simple tool of you reprogramming your mind. Reprogram your mind. And the issue is that we have all these other beliefs. That's why I created the course, the Mindset Makeover, because some of the things that we actually believe, because they've been repeated over and over and over again, we think that they're true. Have you ever experienced that? Like you learned something and you had like an aha moment. They have these videos where they show you like how to open garlic. You may have been open garlic like one way your whole life. There's a story about a woman who she used to always cut her pot roast in half. And she cut her pot roast in half and she would cook it in two. And then her daughter watched her and she cut her pot roast in half. And her granddaughter watched her and she cut her pot roast in half. And then finally, the great-granddaughter was like, why are we cutting our pot roast in half? They're like, I don't know, we just always did it that way. And then so they found out by asking, thank God she was still alive, the great-grandmother, why did you cut your pot roast in half? She goes, well, because the whole one wouldn't fit in the stove. What? So a lot of times we're doing things based on habit or learning, and that we have not evolved past that old way of thinking or being, but we keep repeating it, even if it doesn't work, even if it's impractical, even if it takes us down the wrong road, right? So we all do it. So that's why once I learned this, I'm like, you know, I'm going to tell everybody I know. I'm going to tell everybody I know, but it requires constant, consistent, and commitment to reprogram your life from limiting limitations. From limiting limitation. That is beliefs that don't serve you from your childhood, from bad experiences, from trauma. You will constantly attract that to you until you actually learn how to reprogram that. So that's the work that we do in the Mindset Makeover. That is coming up this April, at the end of April, the next course. I only offer this once per year. This is a Mindset Makeover Express course, so you definitely want to get in it. It's the only time that you can do it. If you really want to program your mind, elevate your frequency to live the life that you want. Oh my God, you know what I realized? Some days when I have like a free day, I feel like I should be doing something. I'm like, wait a minute, I manifested this. Like to be in control of how my day looks, right? So you get to recognize that. So like I am a manifestation of my dreams 5 years ago. And so are you. The question is, are you just sitting in a cycle of the same thing over and over? Are you willing and ready to break through and level up to a higher frequency so that you can create something more desirable in your life? Or do you just want to keep repeating the same life over and over again like many people do? Because you never make over your mind. And if you want to start right now, start with your affirmations. Do it 3 times a day, the rule of 3, morning, noon, and night. Have at least 3 affirmations. Repeat it 3 times. Say it out loud, read it, and then experience it. Experience it. What you believe, you will achieve. If you like this message, do me a favor. I want you guys to share it with a friend. Share it with a friend. And I want you to save it. And save it and listen to it on one of those days when you're feeling like, oh my God, woe is me. I don't know if I can get through. So save this message so that you can hear it again, because you will hear something different. Because unfortunately, the mind can only take in, the conscious mind can only take in a small amount of information at one time. So you'll finish this video, you only remember like 1 or 2 things. So that's why you want to save it, to go back and read it and see what lands with you and start to apply it to your life. All right, you guys, I love you. Have an amazing day. Remember, constant, consistent commitment. See how we put that body to it? Will give you a fit, fierce, and fabulous life. That's a power move. That's a power move. That's on purpose. C equals FFF. My rock stars know what we're talking about. C equals FFF, right? We are better together. See the power move? See the frequency? Ooh, I do that every day. We are better. See that power move? Together, raising our frequency. Yes. All right, you guys, I love you so much. Have a beautiful day. Hope you enjoyed this live as much as I did. Bye. Oops.